Have you ever stood in front of a mirror and asked yourself, is this it? The alarm goes off, you hit snooze. Again, you stare at the ceiling for 5 seconds, then 10. Your chest feels heavy, your brain numb. The weight of 1,000 unseen expectations clings to your shoulders like wet concrete. Your job, a loop. Your dreams, delayed. Your energy, spent on things that don't even matter. But here's the truth you've been dodging for years. You're not tired. You're uninspired. Because deep down, you know there's more to life than this treadmill. You know you're not born just to pay bills, survive meetings, and die with unread emails. You are born to build, to create, to matter. You don't need another coffee. You need a reason. And no, I'm not talking about some corny vision board. I'm talking about the fire, a personal why that drags you out of bed when motivation ghosts you. When the world tells you no and you say, watch me. Because listen, every person you've ever admired, every statue you pass in a park, every face on a bill, every name etched into the history books, they were just like you. Lincoln was depressed. Edison failed 10,000 times. Disney got fired for lack of imagination. Ford went bankrupt 5 times. The only difference, they said yes when life screamed, give up. See Viktor Frankl, he didn't write from a cozy office sipping tea. He wrote in Auschwitz, surrounded by death, stripped of everything. But he discovered something most people will never find. That even when everything is taken from you, your job, your status, your comfort, there's one thing they can't steal, your choice, your response, your will. And that's where it begins. Not in Harvard, not in Silicon Valley, right there, in the pit. When you've got nothing but air in your lungs and a whisper in your chest that says, I'm not done yet. That whisper, that's your soul. And most people ignore it. They drown it in Netflix, in scrolling, in alcohol, in fake smiles and plastic goals. But if you're still listening, then you haven't given up. And that makes you dangerous. Because once a human wakes up to their purpose, once they stop asking why me and start asking what now, they become unstoppable. So let's talk about mindset, not in a morning routine kind of way, not in manifest this fluff. I mean real mindset, the kind forged in fire, not comfort. You want to win. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You need to let go of this fantasy where the path is smooth, where people cheer you on, where opportunities fall into your lap. Because they won't. No one is coming to save you. No one's gonna hand you the life you want. And that's the best news you'll hear today. Because it means you're free. Free to write your own rules. Free to build without permission. Free to fail forward. Again and again and again. There is no perfect moment. There is no right time. There is only now. The people you admire, they weren't chosen. They chose to show up after rejection. They chose to study after midnight. They chose to knock on doors no one opened. And when one opened, they were ready. Success isn't sexy, it's sweaty, it's lonely, it's invisible, it's boring. But it's also earned, and that right there is your edge. While others complain, you execute. While others scroll, you build. While others wait, you move. Because you don't just want a better life. You've decided you're done with the old one. You've buried the version of you that hesitated. You've killed the version of you that waited for validation. And now you rise, not like a hero in a movie, but like a builder, like a soldier, like a damn force of nature, with clarity, with fire, with intention. And if your mind's still whispering, what if I fail? Good. That means you're human. That means you're still in the game. Just remember, fear is a compass. If it scares you, it's probably worth doing. Because everything you want is hiding behind something you fear. And courage isn't the absence of fear, it's doing it anyway. So stop negotiating with your potential. Stop asking for permission to be great. Start showing up like the person your future is begging you to become. You owe it to the 8-year-old version of you, who dreamed without limits. You owe it to the 80-year-old version, who wish they had more time. Your life isn't an accident. It's a damn assignment. And it starts the moment you say yes. Not yes to comfort, not yes to easy, but yes to life. In spite of everything. But let's get one thing straight. Belief isn't something you find. It's something you forge. Nobody wakes up one day with unshakable confidence. That's a lie sold by self-help hacks and hustle bros on Instagram. Real belief is built in the dark. It's hammered out through nights when nobody claps for you, through mornings when nothing makes sense and everything hurts. But you show up anyway. Belief isn't positive thinking, it's relentless choosing. Choosing to act again and again before the results show up. You think Steve Jobs waited for Apple to succeed before he believed. You think Kobe waited for the championship before he trained like a champion. Hell no. They believed so loudly that the world had to catch up. And that's the kind of belief you need. You don't wait until the path is visible. You walk until it appears. Because the truth is, life will always test you. It's supposed to. That's the deal. But most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because their vision is blurry. So let's talk about clarity. What do you really want? No, cut the fluff. Not I wanna be happy, not I want more money. Those are symptoms, not a vision. What do you want so bad that you'd bleed for it? What would you chase even if it took 10 years, cost you your comfort, made you look crazy to everyone who ever knew you? Because that's your real vision. That's the thing that makes pain worth it. That's what lets you smile while sweating, grind while tired, stand while others sit. Without a vision, you're not living, you're reacting. You're a pinball in someone else's machine. You get up, do what you're told, spend what you earn, and call that a life. Now, a life without a vision is just slow motion surrender. But a life with vision, that's a guided missile. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't need applause. It only needs direction. And you've got that in you. But you won't see it in a feed. You won't find it in a course. You find it in silence, in discomfort, in the deep. Because that's where your why lives. And when you find it, everything changes. The excuses, they vanish. The fear, it shrinks. The laziness, it evaporates. Because once you've seen the mountaintop, the valley can't hold you. And here's the brutal truth. Your dream doesn't care how you feel today. Your purpose doesn't care that you're tired. Your future doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. It's coming with or without you. So you better wake up. You better get serious. You better look in the mirror and say, I'm done living small. I'm done chasing easy. I'm done living on accident. From now on, every choice you make needs to scream your vision. Every step, every breath, every damn heartbeat needs to say, this is who I am now. This is what I stand for. This is the life I chose. Not because it was convenient, but because it was true. And when people ask you what changed, you won't say a book, a coach, or a course. You'll say, I finally remembered who the hell I am. Because you were never broken. You were buried beneath doubt, distraction, expectations. But now you're digging yourself out, with clarity, with vision, with a rage to matter. So the next time life hits you, and it will, you won't flinch. You won't fold. You'll smile. Because you've got a mission now. And people with missions don't get rattled by noise. They're too busy building legacies. But vision alone isn't enough. You can know where you're going, and still sit on your ass. Because clarity without discipline is just a dream with a deadline. And discipline is war. A war between the voice that says later, and the one that says now. And let me tell you, the one you feed is the one that wins. Most people think discipline is about rules. or punishment. Nah. Discipline is devotion to your future self. Devotion to the life you said you wanted, when no one was watching. You know how legends are built. Not in hype, not in heat, but in the cold repetition of boring excellence. Kobe shot 1,000 free throws before breakfast. Ali trained in silence, so he could roar in the ring. Jiro the sushi master did one thing over and over for 60 years. That's not luck. That's obsession. That's sacred routine. And most people, they're allergic to boredom. They quit when it gets repetitive. They chase dopamine, not destiny. But here's the brutal truth. You will never rise above the level of your habits. Not your goals. Not your vibes. Your habits. Your calendar is your character. Your behavior is your biography. And every tiny decision you make today writes the story they'll read tomorrow. So stop saying someday. Stop waiting for perfect. Start moving like your life depends on it. Because it does. And here's the twist most people never figure out. Discipline isn't restrictive. It's liberation. You think freedom is doing what you want. Wrong. Freedom is doing what needs to be done. Especially when you don't want to, because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reclaim power. And when you break that promise, when you hit snooze, skip the workout, binge the junk, you tell your brain, I can't trust myself. Do that long enough, and your belief dies quietly, like a fire starved of oxygen. But here's the good news. You can flip that script today, not with motivation, not with hype, with action. Because action changes identity. You don't think your way into confidence. You build it one rep, one call, one step at a time. And that's what separates the lions from the sheep. Not intelligence, not talent, but relentless forward motion. Action doesn't care how scared you are. Action doesn't wait for permission. Action doesn't ask, what if I fail? It says, what if I don't? So if you're waiting for the sign, this is it. Get up, do the thing, write the email, make the pitch, cut the toxic tie, start the business, end the excuse. You don't need a master plan. You need movement, because motion creates clarity, and clarity creates momentum, and momentum, it makes you dangerous. Because the moment you start showing up anyway, tired, show up, afraid, show up, unprepared, show up, alone, show up, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Action isn't a result of belief. It's the creator of belief. The more you move, the more you believe you can. And that belief creates new actions. And those actions compound into outcomes, into identity, into legacy. But it starts with that one step. The ugly one, the awkward one, the one nobody claps for. Take it anyway, because your purpose won't find you. It waits for you at the edge of your comfort zone. Past fear, past pride, past doubt. You don't discover your purpose in theory. You earn it in sweat, tears, silence. You become it. Gratitude. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Gratitude, that's soft, that's spiritual, that's not for hustlers. But let me tell you, gratitude isn't weakness, it's armor. Because when the storms hit, and they will, gratitude is what keeps your head above the water. When you lose the deal, when you get ghosted, when life gut punches you on a random Tuesday, it's not your plan that saves you, it's your perspective. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything's okay. It's about saying, even if it's not, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still fighting. It's the fuel that turns pain into power. You think Navy SEALs survive Hell Week because of muscles.
Now they survive because they reframe pain.
Because even at the breaking point, they find something, anything to be grateful for. The cold means they're alive. The exhaustion means they're growing. The suffering means it's working. And you've been through hell and back too. You've survived heartbreaks that almost wrecked you. You've watched people walk away. You've failed publicly. You've broken down privately. And yet you're still standing. That's gratitude. That's power. Because when you're grateful for what you have, you stop acting like a victim. And when you stop being a victim, you start building like a damn creator.
But life doesn't care about your gratitude. It will still throw chaos your way. So next, let's talk adaptability. The ability to bend without breaking, to pivot without panic, to say okay, that didn't work, next. Most people treat change like an enemy, but in the real world, adaptability is your edge. Netflix started with DVDs. Amazon sold books. Slack was a failed video game. The greats, they don't resist change. They ride it. They surf uncertainty like a wave, because they trust the board they're standing on themselves. And you've got that in you. Not because you've got it all figured out, but because you've decided you'll figure it out, whatever it becomes. See, the world will never stop shifting. Technology, markets, people, emotions. It's chaos, every damn day. But if your identity is rooted in resilience, not perfection, you become unshakable. Because adaptability isn't about having all the answers. It's about staying in the room long enough to find them. You don't need certainty. You need grit. And grit brings us to this. Resilience. Resilience is not how loudly you scream when you win. It's how silently you get up when you lose. Everyone wants to be a lion. Until it's time to do what lions do. Until it's time to hunt alone, bleed alone, heal alone, and still move. Resilience isn't sexy. It's not viral. It's not Instagrammable. It's ugly. It's crying in the car and showing up anyway. It's hearing no 10 times and asking again. It's standing up one more time than you fell down. Life will test you with delay, detour and disappointment. And you have two choices: collapse or climb. And if you've read this far, if you're still here, if you haven't clicked away to some easier dopamine hit, that means you're a climber. You don't need guarantees. You don't need shortcuts. You just need the next step, and the step after that. Because no matter how long the road, no matter how heavy the climb, you weren't built to quit. You were built to rise. So yeah, be grateful, be adaptable, be resilient, because life's not gonna go how you planned. It's gonna go how you respond, and how you respond, that is who you become. Let's talk about the one thing that separates the winners from everyone else. Learning. Not just school, not just facts. I'm talking about relentless growth. The ability to evolve, to look at your own reflection and say, this version of me isn't enough anymore. See, most people, they stop learning the second they get comfortable. They get the job, the routine, the weekend beer, and they flatline. They scroll, they repeat, they die in chapters. But the top, they stay curious, they stay hungry, they study themselves like a blueprint, and rebuild every damn day. Because learning isn't information, it's transformation. It's not reading more books. It's becoming a new book, one page at a time, one painful revision at a time, one uncomfortable truth at a time. The people who win in life, they treat every failure as feedback, every insult as intel, every doubt as data. They don't complain about the storm. They study the wind, and they come back better, faster, sharper. And here's what they all learn, sooner or later. You are not a result of your past. You are a result of your decisions. Right now, in this second. Not tomorrow. Not when it calms down. Not after things settle.
And if you're hearing this, if you feel that voice in your chest screaming yes, then you're done shrinking, you're done settling, you're done apologizing for wanting more, you're done pretending you're average just to make average people comfortable, because now you know, you remember, you weren't born to blend in, you were born to break patterns, to interrupt your family's story, to rewrite your legacy, to rise in a world that told you to sit down. You've tasted quiet misery, and now you crave loud purpose. You've seen what wasting years looks like, and now you want every day to count. So here's the deal. You can go back to comfort, back to excuses, back to half-alive living, or you can burn the damn safety net and build wings on the way down. You can stop being a passenger in your own story and grab the damn pen. You can stop waiting for the world to pick you and pick yourself.
Because the real battle was never out there, it was always in here, in your chest, in your spine, in your soul. You've already survived 100% of your worst days. You've already lived through the heartbreak, the failure, the silence. So what now? You rise louder, bolder, clearer, because the world doesn't need more followers, it needs more fire starters, people who live like they mean it.
Who show up like they're running out of time. Because they are. So here's what you say right now. Say it out loud if you have to. Say, I am done waiting. I am done apologizing. I am done surviving. I choose to live. I choose to lead. I choose to rise. Say it again. Louder. Because your past doesn't get to decide your future. You do. Because your excuses don't write your legacy. You do. Because your life isn't a mistake, it's a mission. And now you go. Now you build. Now you become. So, whatever's ahead, whatever it looks like, whatever it costs, say yes. Yes to fear. Yes to fire. Yes to the unknown. Yes to becoming. Yes to life. In spite of everything.